I did, like, I looked up hairstyles. Look at my hair.
Yeah.
I dressed up for you today.
Oh, I just got home from work.
That's
I did not
fine.
dress up at all.
Like, so, you'll be either super disappointed or super impressed. So, where I stopped off at RWBY, where I stopped watching it, was at, like, season 3. That's where I stopped watching it.
Good. Don't watch anymore. That's fine. I love you. That's spectacular.
I'm not done. That was years ago, but I remember what happened until season 3. I watched from season 4 all the way through to season 7 yesterday.
Why?
Yesterday. I wanted to see how bad it got.
Okay. And
I have to say, plot-wise, not terrible. Dialogue went completely downhill. Costumes in the 7th season and the haircuts,
disgusting. It's a What do you mean the plot was all right? Season 4 and 5
I was expecting it to be worse. I was expecting it to be worse. The thing is, like, with RWBY, you and Simon were, like, super fucking into it, okay? I didn't understand it. I didn't like the 3D animation. You know what? Ever since the 3D animated Berserk, I am so against 3D animation. I love 2D. I think it's beautiful. I've seen combined work as well. Gorgeous. Beautiful. I stan it. But pure 3D animation, cannot stand it. And when I first saw it, I was like, okay, this is going to be a garbage show. But you know what? I gave it a chance because you and Simon were into it, okay? So for me, my expectations for season 4 to season 7 weren't super, super high in terms of plot, but I liked some of the lore stuff, like the whole man with two souls shit, and like, you know what I'm talking about, like the whole Salem, like how that all happened. The divinity shit is garbage. They literally just put 2 men with horns as their gods. Excuse me? Like, that was garbo. They could have done anything.
The lore and like the whole season 4 and 5 is plot-wise is trash because they split the 4 up and up. Right, hang on. Wait, I need my lists.
Go and get them.
My 6-page list. Okay, so first off, 1, 2, and 3 was good because, well, 1, Monty was in control for most of it, except when he passed away in 2015, rest his soul.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was going to ask you this. Okay, before you get into all the flaws, I think because it's not like a widely known show, I think you might need to introduce the audience to what this show is and what the fuck we're talking about. Like, I know I just went off on one, gave a bunch of spoilers, but go ahead.
RWBY is a 7-season animated show by Rooster Teeth, which is a company in America. It was created in 2003. It basically focuses on 4 girls: RWBY, Weiss, Queen, Blake, and Yang. Those are the main 4. They have specific colours, specific histories, and they're all built. Most of the characters are built around fairy tale characters. Actually, no, all of them are fairy tale characters. So we basically follow them.
Do you want to describe fairy tale characters?
Do I have to? RWBY is, as expected, based off of Little Red Riding Hood because she has a red cape. Capes are so impractical. God, you stupid girl.
Yeah, but you loved. Don't front like you didn't love it back then. You loved it. You didn't have a problem with that at the beginning.
Her scythe was cool, but now it's stupid.
It's just morbidly obese as a weapon. Like, it's too big for a girl that small to just lumber around.
How tall is she?
She's like 5'0". It's no wonder that fucking Crow's always like hunched over. It's from carrying that fucking thing around all the time.
You think I actually paid attention to half the stuff in that season?
I just watched, okay, from 4 to 7. Give me a break.
We were discussing who the characters are based off of.
They did so dirty in that last season with that fucking hairstyle. I am so sorry.
It's disgusting, isn't it? Awful. Weiss is based off of Snow White, White Snow. Blake is based off of Beauty and the Beast, and Yang is based off of Goldilocks.
They have like other characters like
Joan
of Arc. Isn't that his name or some shit? Like, they have Hammer Girl.
Her name is Laura.
They have Ren, who's just like your token Asian person. And then they have Pira Nikos, who's just awkward and then dies halfway through the show. Like,
she was awkward, but she was also badass.
She was cool. She was cool as a character, but I hated her voice acting. I feel like the show wasn't great to start with. Let's make that very clear.
Yeah,
but
the show was atrocious because from seasons 1 to 3 they only had Poser to work with. Yeah. And I feel like in the early seasons you could excuse the atrocious voice acting because you could tell in season 1 the show had heart, the show had a goal, it had something
that was what I liked about it as a show, is that, okay, this feels like this is going somewhere. Like, yes, it's kind of shitty, but I can appreciate the creation of it. But, like, I feel like after Monty died, the whole show just tanked.
Oh, yeah.
Coronavirus.
But because Monty was behind it, is and was massively known in the animation industry.
It definitely carried a name. Like, up until the 7th season, they were keeping his name, like, in the title every single time. That's another thing. Like, it's 20-minute episodes, but, like, they have to have a fucking minute-and-a-half song at the beginning. Like, why?
Did you get very bored of them after season 3?
You know what? They're all kind of trash. I'm not gonna lie. There's maybe
season 2 was good.
There's maybe like one that I actually like, and like it's mediocre, but it's like good compared to the other ones. But like I got so bored of them, and the thing was, right at the beginning, it's not too bad because it's like 30 seconds. Like the first season, it's like 30 seconds long. But like as you go on through the seasons, they just get longer and longer.
I know.
Longer. And it feels like they also hired like one band to do the whole show. They sound like a teenage garage band. Like somebody's daughters just got together. It really does, like, especially towards, I think it was like the 6th season, they have like one song where it's just about like, you're gonna die, I'm gonna die, everybody's gonna die. like I'm pretty sure that was the lyricism in it. And I was just sitting there like, was this necessary? Like, you could have just put a sad violin in the background. It would have made, like, it's free and it would have worked fine. Do you want to
very hard to
explain
give
the
context.
Dumbass fucking lore of this whole story?
No, because it takes too long.
Okay, let me try and explain it, like, really briefly. As brief as I can make it, because it's really...
You're good at making things
convoluted in the worst possible fucking way. Like, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, convoluted, but, like, in a good way. This is convoluted in the shittiest fucking way that... I don't understand. Like, the whole point... part of the reason why I kept watching it, especially, like, yesterday, when you were like, oh, I want to review the show, and I didn't want to come in and just let you do all the ranting. Like, I wanted to take part as well. So
you don't want me to do all the arguing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she wrote 6 pages. I felt like I needed to do my homework. So I did my homework. Like, I spent a significant... And, like, this show is no joke. They have, like, 20 episodes in one season. And I spent, like, 6 to 7... probably like 14 hours. Let's say 14 hours. I spent maybe 14 hours watching this fucking show. Okay, listen. Okay, the lore of this world is that there are 2 gods. There's the darkness and then there's the light, and they gave humans magic. The light guy looks like a dude with like stag horns, and he's gold. That's his whole shtick. That's what he looks like, and he lives in like an oasis of water with a tree in the middle of it. That's his temple, right? And then there's the darkness, who's just like this creepy weird dude who apparently can't walk properly. He has to like be creepy and weird, and he has to walk upside down with his head hanging, right? He can't do anything. He has like ram spots. He's purple, and he lives in like this goop that births these like monsters called the Grimm, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Because it's all fairy tales, right? There has to be a Grimm with 2 M's. And this like darkness pool births all these monsters called the Grimm that like all the hunters from the present day or the contemporary people fight. But we'll get to that later. So that in the beginning there's this lightness and this darkness, and they're also dragons somehow. But that's never explained. We just in their final form, they're like Dragon Ball Z dragons. At least the golden one is. So they create humans, and they give all humans magic, or the darkness gives all humans magic to use, or whatever. At least from what I understood. And what happens is that there's these two people. One is a bitch who she's not a bitch at the beginning, but she becomes a bitch later. Her name is Salem, and her backstory is like super sad. It's like a very Fiona-esque story where she's like locked up in a tower and her dad's a cunt, like all of that, right? That's what I got from the story. That was the level of storytelling.
Right.
Like maybe they didn't use those exact words, but that was the baseline. That was her whole backstory, was that her dad was a cunt and she got locked in a tower. And there was no like, oh, she kept running away from home, she didn't hand in her homework, there was no like she was a hoe and she needed to be locked away. Like there was none of that. She was an ogre and like she had a curse on her and somebody, like there was none of that. There was just she was locked in a tower. And then this like brave knight who's righteous, so he, like, they don't go. I'm so mad right now. Like, you're told that there are trials to reach the princess and like get her out of the tower, but they never go over what the trials are.
See, that's the thing. They skip out too much.
Like that the whole fun of learning the lore is to like delve into it and like get into the magic of this world. You don't get to do that. For some reason, there's a genie. We don't know why.
They care more about the slow plot in 4 and 5 rather than, like, they tell us the lore, they don't show us the lore.
You know what? 4 and 5 are just
disgusting.
I'm bisexual, so I feel like I can say this. They're just gay. Like, I don't fucking get them. So we don't know what the trials are, but this brave young knight who's righteous, and so he surpasses all the trials, doesn't say how, doesn't say like how he does that, but he gets to the tower and he saves the princess, or saves the girl who's locked in it. We don't even know if she's a princess, right? I don't think that's ever stated. But her dad had a tower and he locked her in it. That's all we know about her. But he like saves her. He saves her, and like he did it because he was righteous and he did what was right, but he falls in love with her. As if he didn't do it for puss. Like, we know he did it for puss. He 100% did it for puss. He knew there was a hot girl in that tower, and if he saved her, she would fall in love with him forever, okay? Like, we knew that. His name was something else, but like later down the line, he changes his name to like Ozpen, right? That's his name. We're calling him that. I think his name is like Ozma, but that's stupid, so we're not calling him that. His name is Ozpin. But they fall in love, right? And they live happily ever after, or they were meant to. I think that's how the story goes. And then he dies of an illness, just out of the picture. And she's, Salem, super sad, she's crying, and she's like, I want him back. So she goes to the god of light, and she's like, give me back my dick. Like, what did you do with my dick? I just got him. I was locked in a tower for 20 years, and now he's gone. You killed him dead. He died of an illness. He surpassed all these trials that were set for him. Didn't care to elaborate on them, but they were trials. And now he's dead, and I want him back. And the god of light is like, no, there's a balance that needs to be maintained. I feel really sorry for you, but I can't do that. She runs off, and she goes and finds the god of darkness, and he does this weird creepy shit and climbs out of his fucking darkness pool. And she's like, I want you to bring back my man. And he's like, okay, and he brings him back. Oh, but big fucking dick light god comes along and is like, why did you do that? And they get into a fight, like light god and dark god, and they turn into dragons for whatever fucking reason. I don't even understand the point of that. Like, why? What was the reason for that? There was no reason for that. They have a family spat before they both apologize, and they decide to make Salem immortal while simultaneously taking away Ozpin to make her suffer forever. Then she, because she's a bad bitch, at this point I have mad respect for her. She goes and she gathers all of the humans who have like all these magical powers, because that's the fantasy world we're living in. She goes and gathers them and she starts a rebellion against the gods. And then they erase everybody from the planet except for her. I can't fucking blame her. I'm sorry. They suck. They're shitty. I hate them. And so the god of darkness, who originally gave humans magic, I've spent way too much time on this show already, and I'm angry about it. The god of darkness gave humans magic to use and like flourish and do whatever the fuck they did, right? And and he takes it away because they were rebelling against everybody. Not that he needed to do that, because he was going to destroy everybody anyway. But he erases all humans from the planet, and she's the only one left on Earth alone. And a couple of, I don't even know, they don't even explain the time scale. I feel like if I had written this story as a Movella's fiction, it would have passed. It would have passed as a good story. But as an animation that you put money into and time, and you have a team of people, like, who the fuck are you trying to fool? Anyways, so there's like no time limit, and the God of Light fucking James Potter out here, right? He's he has a fucking stag head, okay? They get the point. Yeah, like stag head, like it's literally this. It's just a gold man. It's like a, imagine a green screen suit, but like it's gold with the stag horns. Like that's it.
Yeah.
That's the level of creativity we're working with, people. But he doesn't like resurrect Ozpin, but he like gets his soul. It's never made clear. He just like talks to him in the ether, right? And he's like, oh, we want you to correct the balance and we're going to judge mankind. But it's never clear as to why they would want to judge mankind or why they would want to punish mankind. They just like set out this arbitrary task to punish Ozpin for no other reason than just like
his girlfriend was a bitch.
His girlfriend is a bitch. Like that's it. I was sitting there and I was like, why are they doing this? Like they're not even there to watch this happen. Like what? I'm so confused. And then so Ozpin becomes like the man with two souls. Like he constantly resurrects after he's killed, and he's born into another man's body constantly. It's really
like
weird
Oscar.
when you think about it. But he's like resurrected again and again into another man's body, and he like takes over their life. And at one point, he and Salem became like the gods of the new world because they both retained their magical powers, but the rest of humanity didn't have any magic. And then they gave birth to the Four Seasons, apparently. They gave birth to the Maidens, who also had magical powers. And they could open the doors to these relics, which are completely arbitrary. Like, there's no point to them except to
the relics
make more
don't
episodes.
do anything. The relics are pointless.
The only one that does anything is the genie. So that's the lore of the entire world. 100 years later, you have RWBY and the gang dealing with this shit. Blake,
I'm going to focus mainly on season 4 because that's where
everything. Has the personality of a 14-year-old emo child who hasn't learnt that there are bigger problems in the world.
Why are you calling me out like this?
It's true.
Right, this is one of the problems I had.
What? Alright, you go off now. I went off for a hot minute. It's your turn.
Basically, let me find the right page. Basically, RWBY the show has become incredibly fan service based.
Yep.
Like everyone is like Bumblebee, 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 and Barbara, who voices Yang, is like Bumblebee, Bumblebee. Got that? Thank you. Bumblebee is basically the ship name of Blake and Yang.
Right.
And you've got White Rose, which is Ruby and Weiss, but to be honest, everyone's too gay for Weiss. But the reason Blake and Yang suck so much as characters is because they're just two halves of a ship.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. There's nothing to actually separate them anymore. And the whole thing was that Blake and Adam is like the leader of the White Fang. He's this really bad dude.
So White Fang is like modern day like terrorism. That's what they are.
Yeah.
They're just a terrorist group.
Yeah.
Blake was a part of this terrorist group before she reformed and decided she wanted
to... okay, speaking about this,
okay.
She was like, oh, we had it so hard. She's basically a Disney princess that's edgy. Blake's whole backstory was that it was really tough growing up, and it was really hard, and I was like, oh, maybe we'll see some actual poverty and racism towards the Faunus. Nah.
Like, what... I feel like Blake just created her own problems. Like, she joined a terrorist organization with her ex. Like, she just fell in love with a guy and sold her soul. Like, that was it. She created her own problems. She had a loving family. Okay, she was basically the princess of that entire region. Menagerie, I think it's called. As if that's not an offensive name to give to that place. I mean, Like, you can't blame people for being racist if you're literally gonna call where you live a zoo. Like, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. You might as well have just called it the jungle and just had a sign and the song, Welcome to the Jungle. Like, for those of you who I probably didn't make it clear, the Faunus are basically like furries. The Faunus, they're meant to be like animal people. They have like Blake has cat ears and whatever. So they gave the name to their home Menagerie. And she is the princess of that home, and she joins a terrorist group that is meant to like fight for dominance of the
Fight
Faunus.
for equal rights.
No. No.
Initially, it was fight for equal
Originally,
rights.
it was for equal rights, right? It started off all Martin Luther King Jr., but then it became very, very Black Panther, okay? Are you crying? I'm so mad at this show.
You're going to have a great time editing this.
Oh, I am.
Basically, the whole shipping thing of Blake and Yang is superior is that they basically turned Adam into a stalkery ex, and basically, I'm not wrong.
They turned Adam into a stalker.
I've broken her.
Okay, you finish this point, and then I have a big question for you. Oh, you know what my favorite line is from that entire season? It's, I'm not protecting her, and she's not protecting me. We're protecting each other. No! Really? We couldn't fucking tell.
The whole Blake and Yang thing just totally removed any of his power that he had. I'm like, this dude's meant to be the strong leader of a terrorist organisation. Now he's just a little crybaby that spissed his girlfriend.
It's so moist. I can't. That whole scene, I was like, okay, I want both of you to fucking die. I hope Adam kills the fuck out of both of you. I hate you right now. I want to kill them or I want to die. Give me one or the other.
Like, the whole shipping thing, it's not plot relevant.
It's not, because I thought like the direction the show was taking was that they were going to put Blake and Monkey Boy together. I've forgotten his name. Sun, that's it. His name is Sun also. They were going to put Blake and Sun together. That's what I thought they were going to do. But then it like kept going to this weird like Blake and Yang, Blake and Sun, Blake and Yang, Blake and Sun. And then they also had the chameleon girl at some point who's in love with Blake. Like, why is everybody thirsting after Blake? I'm so confused. They have like a love pentagon going on. Also, the question I wanted to ask you is that what animal is Adam meant to be?
A bull.
In what world is like those pussy horns on his face? Bullhorns.
His surname is Taurus.
I know.
And what is a Taurus?
Like, I'm sorry, what bull... First of all, what bull uses a sword? Like, when is a sword associated to a bull?
When does a cat use a sword?
Well, at least, like, with cats, you can, clawing and all of that, you can associate that to a cat. And she's also, like, really nimble, and she can run away really fast. Like, you can associate that to a cat.
Throwing knives, I get it, but a sword that turns into a gun?
Well,
no.
I mean, the gun part the gun part for any of the show didn't make any sense to me. Like, I just did not understand any of it. But like, I could excuse that. Like, I could make excuses for that. But like with Adam, I spent so much of the show from like beginning to end, like season 1 to when he dies, to like trying to guess what the fuck kind of animal he is. Because I know they said Taurus, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, there's no way this man is a bull. There is no way. There is no way. His hair goes red. Like, he has those, like, he's a rabbit at best. At best.
They've introduced so many characters. Team Coffee, where were they? I've seen nothing of Team Coffee. Coco,
did.
Badass.
They hella did.
Coco, oh my god, Coco could kill me and I'd say thank you.
Of the main 8, so of RWBY, Weiss, Blake, Yang, I'm having a really hard time here. John, Pyrrha, Nora, and Ren. I think I got
well done, gold star.
Who is the least developed?
Because there's least developed and there's badly developed.
Alright, let's do least developed and badly developed.
Blake is the least developed.
I think John is the least developed.
Oh, I forgot we were including that lot.
He has been the same character from like day one.
Yeah, no, Jean doesn't get character development. I think
He
that's
gets a new
because
haircut in season 7. He's like as much as I know that the show is meant to be about these 4 strong women who do strong women things, okay? Like that does not mean you just leave out character development from one of the only, like, there's 2 main male characters, John and Ren. Ren is a token Asian. That is his whole personality. There's nothing else to him. Like even his dad, who dies like trying to save a city, token Asian character. Like complete like I was so offended by that whole fucking scene. As someone who is an Asian person, token Asian. That is it, right? They don't have a token black character. They have a token Asian character. And then they have the token guy who's just like, first of all, he's a weak character, which we can appreciate. There's some character development there that goes through and it's cool, but it like ends in season 1. And then he's the same character from season 1, like the end of season 1.
like Pyrrha's death, spoilers, Pyrrha dies. Pyrrha's death doesn't change him. It doesn't add anything to him.
No.
Because we were like, oh, maybe he'll do this and this and this. Did he do any of that?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
I think one of the most badly developed characters is Yang.
Yang definitely is one of the most badly developed because she goes through a lot. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity to develop her character, and they're just like, she like is bipolar.
She's like, oh, I don't want that robotic arm. I don't want it. But then she puts it on and she's like, I'm fine. And I'm like, no, you're not.
I feel like in terms of the world that they created and in terms of the characters that they developed, like yeah, from the beginning I was kind of like, okay, it's kind of like a kids show, but like I can get on board. Like I'm willing to see this through. It just felt like there was so much lost potential there.
So much happened off, like at the start of season 4, so much happened off screen that we could have seen that was replaced with the writers and the animators going into so much depth about every little thing because they divided the 4 girls up and they were like, how do we cover everything? We cover everything.
Also, I want to talk about Cinder for a second. Can we talk about Cinder for a second?
Oh, right. Her lack of character development is disgusting.
That
because
bitch needs
there
to
is
die. I'm sorry. She has the personality of like an angry fish.
I could understand keeping her motivations very hidden in season 1 and a bit of season 2 because you need mystery. But there was a line, I think it was in season 6, and it said, I am hungry for power and I will not starve. That gave me so much more about her than anything of the past.
Honestly, I don't.
That line was so well
Cinder
delivered.
as a character, I feel like they established her so well in the beginning, and then she just changes. Like she's just a different person.
I feel like she's bad for the sake of being bad. She doesn't have any real motivation. There's nothing driving her. Now the biggest character that is a pain in the neck is RWBY.
You find her a pain in the neck?
I can't stick her. She is a very stereotypical Mary Sue. Like, I get that, the main character needs to stand out, but dead mother, magical silver eyes, like her.
There's something very cookie cutter about her, but also, like, I wasn't expecting anything more than that. Like, at least her character has shown some development from her being, like, a proper kid to, like, somewhat leadership-like.
Yeah, she's gained some leadership qualities, but she's still just a bit of a midget leading a team of people that she doesn't really know what she's doing.
She's got hella midget vibes. Ozpin fucking pisses me off as a character.
Ozpin as a character, I think, is like that teacher. They're like, oh, can you help me? And they're like, well, if you look at it this way, and they're just very up themselves.
He gives me, like, creepy Catholic priest vibes. I don't understand him as a character. He had no character development. He just has this mad trust issue. Like, mad trust
Everyone
issues.
has trust issues.
But, like, his comes out of fucking nowhere.
I was about to say we may get backstory on that, but I don't think that'll ever happen.
I don't want to know if they do. It's too late.
I'm not gonna lie, it's too late. I love this show because I was the one that dragged Simon into it, and then I dragged you into this. I never shut up about that show.
Oh my gosh, every single fucking day. Even you worked it into our role plays. Your character had a fucking scythe with a gun attached to it.
I thought we said we were leaving those in the void.
I'm never gonna let you forget about it. Do you remember that conversation we had?
Yes.
Oh my god. Am I wrong though?
Does the Grim Reaper wear a little dungaree saying "Go wish in the fields"?
I mean, the whole point of the Grim Reaper is that he's like harvesting souls.
Yeah, but he's not harvesting a fucking field.
If you view people as crop and you're the Grim Reaper, then yeah, it makes sense. But guess who ain't the Grim Reaper? RWBY.
Me.
Or you. And also, he doesn't have a gun attachment. He doesn't have an AR-15 just attached to his scythe.
Nor does it go
And I'm
like a
pretty sure
transformer.
he's taller than 5 foot nothing. Like, I don't know him personally, but how tall is the Grim Reaper? You're really gonna look that up?
6 foot.
See, like, he would not get a hunchback from having a scythe with no AR-15 attachment that doesn't fold up and stack neatly on your back. RWBY, that girl gonna get scoliosis. I guarantee she's gonna be in a wheelchair by, like, 25. I mean, Crow's already there. That man's only walking because he's carrying the burden of the fact that his superpower is that he is unlucky. Can we? Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Like, you know how Domino in Deadpool, like, her whole superpower is that she's lucky and it's really fucking cool. This man's superpower, every single character has a superpower in this show. This man's superpower is that he is unlucky. In what world is that a superpower?
We'd have it, probably.
What, so he's just a human being, you mean? He doesn't have plot armor, you mean? Like, flat tires burst around him.
Oh yeah, that's what happens when you fuck 2 of your teammates.
He wasn't the one who fucked 2 of his teammates.
Oh, he wasn't!
He's the uncle.
It was
He's the unlucky one. Also, one of his teammates is his sister. He was literally the third wheel in their fucking gangbang. It's so sad. I don't know. I do not know if I could be friends in a group of 4 where one person is sleeping with the other 2 people and one of them is your sibling. They did all of those characters. All of them. Every single fucking one of them. From fucking Golden Staghorn dude to the other one. They did all of them so fucking dirty. They so deserve to be repurposed into a good show. Whoever did her that dirty, like, I never liked Weiss as a character, but whoever did her dirty in that last season and made her look like that needs to be burned at the stake. What the fuck were you thinking? You turned one of the most gorgeous, fucking pristine, princess-looking characters into that monstrosity. I don't even want to show it. I don't want that shit on my channel. You can go and Google it. Just look up Waishni Season 7 RWBY, RWBY.
Look at this bullshit.
No.
The bisexual Bob. No.
I've taught you many things over the years, I feel like.
Some
things you've internalized and you will only reveal in therapy, and other things...
I go to therapy. I drink away my problems.
You have... Not with your work ethic. When was that? I was so ready. I bought Mixer. I was so ready to get fucked up last night, and you were like, no, I'm busy, sorry. I'm not going to be available until, like, Monday. Like, I wish that all of the kingdoms had just ganged up on Atlas and just took it down.
That would have been more interesting.
So much more interesting. Like, fuck the rest of it. Like, fuck the Grim, fuck all of the other political intrigue. I just wanted so badly to watch Atlas burn. All of the people there are so fucking... The commander, obnoxious. Weiss's dad, obnoxious. Yeah, is that what his name is? His name is
Ironwood.
Ironwood. Sounds like he's compensating for something.
Yeah, but doesn't even have anything.
Weiss's dad, obnoxious. That fucking Robin Hillary woman, obnoxious. They're all. I want that city to burn. No, Yang was a fucking mess. I really liked her character. She was my favorite character from like.
I was about to say you really liked Yang.
I really, really liked Yang. Yang, like in terms of like her whole character, because she's got like a lot of anger. I feel like I can relate to that. Her superpower is that the more you hit her, the more she like.
The more strength she gets.
She gets more strength the more you like hit her, which I can relate to. Like it's a pretty cool superpower as far as superpowers go. So I really, really liked her, but like this whole bitch whingy stuff with Blake is just, and like her like constantly, it just felt like she was the new boyfriend constantly fighting against the ex. Like that's her whole character after season 3.
Despite this being season 3 animation was perfect.
Yeah, they really didn't need to change any of it. The only problem I had with her
they
outfit,
downgraded.
Well, see, like I don't mind that outfit.
I don't care about the outfits. I'm talking about the animation.
The animation definitely downgraded.
They were like, "Oh yeah, we wanted to improve," and I'm like, "But the charm of it was that it was like
homemade,
a 2D, slightly 3D, awkward combo show."
Yeah, I don't think. Do you know what? Like, if they hadn't put so much effort into the animation, I don't think I would be this mad. I did more research for this video recording than I have
than anything else.
Any of my uni assignments combined. I have never spent 14 hours researching something for uni because I'm a pretty smart fucking woman.
Yes, you are smart. You're incredibly smart, and I hope you get valued.
I have lost IQ points because of this show. In the last 24 hours, 14 of them have killed my brain cells. I don't think, like, if I had drank straight absinthe for 14 straight hours, I would have killed as many brain cells.
But at least you can now feel the total utter pain and hate that I feel for this show.
I feel it. I feel like I've reflected it. Maybe not nearly as enough because this show, like, I haven't been this exhausted since the last season of Game of Thrones, where I was just Simon called me like the next day. And like the day after the final episode of that season, and he was like, "I need to talk to you," and I was like, "I know." And the first words that came out of his mouth was, "What the fuck was that?"
I could say so much about that season and that show I don't like.
You know what we need to do is we need to get me, you, and Simon into one Discord chat, and we need to have that discussion. But anyway, what are your final thoughts?
If you're going to watch it, watch the red, white, black, and yellow trailers. Watch season 1, season 2, season 3, and stop. Make up whatever you want for the rest of it. Don't watch any more of it because it's atrocious.
Even better, just take all the information we've given you and write a better story. Like, feel free to take all the dragon god shit and, you know, make it into something good. Make a better story. I'd be more than happy to, like, go through that. It's so disappointing because, like, you want to support creators who, like, make their own animations and, like, make their own stories. And that's, like, how it started. Like, oh, yeah, like, this is something Vicky likes, and I trust Vicky to send me things that I will like. And, you know, initially I did, but then I just stopped watching it because, you know, I grew up and I was a fucking adult with responsibilities. And now I want to die. Anyway, Vicky, everybody. On Discord, we don't have grainy footage and we don't have terrible audio.
Nor do we have atrocious lighting because I'm in a different room.
Yes. Thank you for joining me anyway, and I hope you've had a good time listening to me rant and having a bit of a rant yourself. Thank you for preparing so many notes. Like, I'm not surprised, but also, like, it's very cute. I was, like, thinking all night, like, what the fuck did I just watch? I went, like, the last few nights, I've been watching, like, movies that I love. I've been watching Easy A, I've been watching, like, The Road to El Dorado, I've been watching Prince of Egypt. I'm loving every second of it. And then I went to watching this, and it was just like, what is my life? What is the point? What is the point of living, Faye, if you're gonna do this to yourself? People paid for that nonsense. I would argue that's worse than people paying for the Fantastic Four movie. I'm really happy that I had you. It was a really, really fun conversation. I'm exhausted. If you enjoyed this, I don't know why you would enjoy this, but if you enjoyed this...
immensely. It has been so much fun. You know she has a PayPal, go pay her.
Links are in the description. Smash that dislike button. Remember to like, share, subscribe. I'm trying to reach 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and hopefully 2,000 by the end of summer, and I would like to celebrate in some way. I don't know how we're going to celebrate, but...
Drinking.
Probably. That's what we did the last time. But, you know, if you want to see us drunk, you get me more subscribers. Preferably female subscribers, because I went over my analytics yesterday, and I'm really shook at the fact that like 90% of you are men. What are you doing? Like, you're middle-aged men. Like, don't go anywhere, but like maybe invite your wives and your kids. Like, what am I doing wrong? Help me. I don't know how to help me.
We can't help you.
Well, there you go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're done for today.